Once upon a time, in a vibrant city filled with skyscrapers, busy streets, and a myriad of stories, there was a courthouse that stared down on the world like a guardian of justice. Inside that courthouse, Judge Malik Johnson presided over numerous cases with a striking combination of wisdom and compassion. In his late 40s, Malik was a man of principles, a devoted husband, a father, and a beacon of hope in a community weary of the complexities of the law. He wore his black robe with pride, believing that every life he touched was a thread woven into the fabric of justice. On a warm summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Malik returned from a long day of hearings in the courtroom. He cherished the quiet moments on his porch, where he would sip sweet tea and admire the colors of the sunset. The rhythmic sound of cicadas filled the air, a gentle reminder that life outside his stoic desk continued to flourish. Little did he know, that evening would spark an unexpected turn of events that would alter the course of his life, and indeed, the lives of many others, forever. As twilight enveloped the neighborhood, two police officers, White and Mac, screeched to a halt in front of Malik's home. Their expressions were serious, decidedly out of place against the backdrop of the tranquil evening. Malik felt a twinge of unease as they approached. "Good evening, Your Honor," Officer White said curtly, his eyes avoiding Malik's steady gaze. "We need to talk to you about an urgent matter." Malik's brow furrowed. "What's this about?" "I'm just trying to enjoy my evening," he said, arching an eyebrow. "There's been a mix-up," Officer Mack interjected, his voice a flat monotone. "We have someone in custody who fits your description, and we're here to take you in for questioning." Malik's mind raced. "Me? A suspect? This is absurd," he protested, crossing his arms defensively. "I am judiciary. I have a court to oversee in the morning. Surely you can't be serious." Without warning, Officer White stepped forward and gripped Malik's wrist with surprising force. Malik struggled to comprehend what was happening. "I'm not going anywhere," he exclaimed, wrenching his arm free. But it was too late. Officer Mack lunged, tackling him to the ground with an unforgiving thud, the pavement punishing his hands as he tried to resist. Gasps erupted from the crowd of bystanders who had gathered nearby, their eyes wide with disbelief. "What's happening?" "That's Judge Johnson," someone shouted, shock rippling through the onlookers. "Don't resist." Officer White barked, pressing Malik forcefully down while searching his pockets. Malik felt his pride crumple, tangled in the humiliation of being treated as a criminal. He could hear the whispers of the crowd, murmurs of confusion washing over him like cold water. The world seemed surreal and turned upside down as he was handcuffed, the metal biting into his wrists. As Malik was shoved into the back of the police cruiser, his heart raced. Injustice doesn't wear a robe, he thought bitterly. The city that had once been his home turned into a foreign land filled with strange glances and accusatory stares. They drove in silence, the flashing lights of the cruiser painting a cacophony of red and blue against the dim evening streets. Inside, Malik battled emotions, anger, confusion, and dread, churning like a storm within. He vowed to himself that he would not allow this to define him, yet the intensity of the moment threatened to crush his spirit. Upon arrival at the precinct, Malik was escorted through sterile hallways that felt like a labyrinth of indignity. He observed other suspects lingering in holding cells, a place he never imagined he'd find himself. As officers processed him, taking fingerprints and a mugshot, Malik's heart sank further. This was not just a mistake, it was a reflection of a broken system. Was he merely another statistic in an unjust narrative woven into the fabric of society? Finally, after hours that felt like an eternity, the heavy door swung open, revealing Aria Lopez, his lawyer and longtime ally. The sight of her brought a flicker of hope to Malik's heart. She rushed to his side, her expression a mix of worry and determination. "Malik, what's happening? Are you okay?" Aria asked urgently. "They think I'm involved in something I have nothing to do with," he replied, still reeling from the experience. "What kind of system allows for this?" She nodded solemnly, understanding the gravity of his distress. "I'll do everything I can to get you out of here. But we need to act fast. There are serious repercussions when a judge is involved." With a sigh of frustration, Malik leaned back heavily against the cold wall, feeling the day's weariness invade him. "This is insane. I have spent years judging others while ensuring justice is served, and now I'm the one being judged. Where's the integrity? As Arya worked diligently to gather information, Malik was released later that evening, but the taste of injustice lingered bitterly. The media buzzed with reports of his wrongful arrest, and soon Malik found himself at the heart of a societal uproar. Citizens voiced their frustrations over police misconduct and accountability as Malik's case became emblematic of deeper systemic issues. Reflecting on his experiences, Malik realized he couldn't just sit back and let it fade away. He had dedicated his life to the law, and now he sensed an opportunity to advocate for change. United with Arya, community leaders, and activists, they organized a town hall meeting designed to amplify the dialogue around justice reform. On the night of the meeting, the community center overflowed with concerned citizens. Malik stood behind the podium, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He gazed at the sea of faces, each one a testimony to the trials they faced every day. "I never imagined I'd stand before you under these circumstances," he began, his voice steady yet tinged with urgency. "What happened to me could happen to anyone, and it reflects the need for systemic change. Together, we can address these injustices." The audience erupted in applause, cheers resounding as Malik shared his story, how he had been treated, and the implications that unfolded in the weeks following his arrest. He highlighted the importance of reforming practices, policies, and procedures within the justice system, encouraging community members to join forces and advocate for a better tomorrow. But the road ahead was fraught with challenges. The status quo was not easily dismantled, and as Malik delved deeper into his case, new layers of corruption began to unfurl. Evidence emerged indicating that the police department had a long history of targeting individuals unjustly, and that Malik's own arrest was part of a larger conspiracy to cover up the misconduct of certain officers. Arya approached Malik with newfound urgency. "Malik, we've found documents. They reveal a pattern of abuses and unsanctioned arrests that go beyond our case. We can't allow this to continue." Malik's heart raced. "If we expose this, we might bring down a part of this corrupt system. We need to gather testimonies from victims," he exclaimed, determined to fight back against the tide of injustice. Working late into the night, they collected evidence and built a coalition of affected individuals willing to speak up. Stories bubbled to the surface, stories of fear and silence that had lingered for far too long. The community rallied behind them as momentum built, demanding justice from their leaders. As the weeks went by, Malik's advocacy became a beacon of hope. Their efforts culminated in an important hearing where the testimonies would be presented to the mayor and committee members overseeing the police. Malik stood tall as he addressed the assembly. "Your Honor, esteemed committee members, I stand here not just as a judge, but as a man who has witnessed the very flaws in our system," Malik said, embracing the weight of responsibility. "We can no longer be silent in the face of injustice." Testimony after testimony echoed through the hall, each narrative weaving a tapestry of struggles that painted a grim picture of police misconduct. Malik's heart swelled with pride for his community as they made their voices heard. It was clear they were not alone, they were in this fight together. But just when it seemed they were on the brink of creating real change, Malik received ominous threats. An anonymous letter arrived at his doorstep, warning him to back down if he valued his family's safety. "Stop this now, or face the consequences," it read. Fear gripped Malik, but he would not be deterred. "This is not just my fight, it's for everyone who has been wronged. I won't be silenced," he declared defiantly to Arya. In the days leading up to the hearing, Malik planned meticulously, ensuring that voices would not be drowned out by intimidation. He rallied supporters, urged them to pack the halls for the hearing, and encouraged civic engagement like never before. As the fateful day arrived, the energy in the building was electric. The assembly hall brimmed with community members, ranging from seniors who had long fought for their rights to young activists fueled by passion. Malik stood at the front, resolute in his determination. His speech was met with an outpouring of support, with cries of "We want justice" ringing from the audience. When the committee deliberated, the tension was palpable, a kaleidoscope of emotions swirling within the chamber. Finally, after hours of discussions, the committee unveiled a set of recommendations for police reform. improved training protocols, stricter oversight, and a foundation for community policing initiatives that focused on building trust, respect, and accountability. In that moment, Malik felt a profound sense of triumph. It was not just a personal victory. The community had risen together. They had transformed pain into purpose, propelling forward their collective journey toward justice. As weeks turned into months, Malik's efforts began to reshape the very foundation of the city. The reforms introduced a new era where community and law enforcement worked hand in hand, reinforcing the principles of equity and justice that Malik had spent a lifetime championing. Slowly, the narrative surrounding Malik shifted from one of victimhood to that of heroism. He was honored by organizations recognizing his unwavering commitment to justice, and the courthouse that once felt like a prison became a symbol of renewed hope. However, the fight was never truly over. Malik understood that every victory required vigilance. Armed with a sense of responsibility, he continued to advocate for those without a voice. He expanded his outreach, established mentorship programs for young men and women seeking careers in law, and formed coalitions with organizations focusing on restorative justice practices. As Malik's legacy as an advocate for justice evolved, he remained true to his roots as a judge. He found empowerment in the courtroom, presiding over cases that had once seemed impossibly tangled. He took every opportunity to promote understanding and empathy, emphasizing the importance of seeing every individual as a person, not just as a case number. Years later, as Malik sat on his porch, sipping sweet tea beneath the gentle shadows of the evening sun, he felt a sense of quiet accomplishment wash over him. His community had transformed, and he had been a part of igniting that change. Looking back on the winding path that had led him here, Malik understood the importance of resilience. Justice is not just a destination. It's a journey paved with determination, empathy, and a willingness to fight against the currents of disillusionment. As the stars began to twinkle overhead, Malik smiled, content in the knowledge that every struggle led to growth, every setback was worthwhile, and above all, that justice, though difficult to grasp, is the noblest of pursuits. With a heart full of hope, he took a sip from his glass and whispered silently to the evening breeze, "Together, we rise."